Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, 87CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airwaves with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain to transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater that spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. Also, we have a presence on YouTube. To find that location, just Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That'll take you to our homepage for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. There you'll see a page containing the frequencies we use, and also a link to connect to YouTube to see what's happening during our net this evening. So with that, I'll take a pause in case anybody needs to make a contact or an emergency till our net is fully underway here on the 08 machine. Again, this is Dave, 87CYM. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, 87CYM. So far checked in via video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Jessica, KS7UHK, Bert, N7CS, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else who would like to check into the net this evening? What you see is what we got. So this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. So let's start off with Ron, 87QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, well, good evening to everyone on the net. KD7QKU in Tacoma here. 34 degrees last time I looked. Well, there was a little bit going on today. Landscaper lawnmower guy came and they had taken the sod out around the chain link fence and he put in bark today, and then Joanne decided she wanted the rest of the bushes in front along the chain link fence taken out. They were put in too close. It was too bad because they had grown in the chain link fence, and then when you trim them up on the outside they're all dead. You know, they look bad. She wanted those out, so he taken those out. Then he removed some of the dirt from the flower bed, especially the one right here in front of me between the front door and the garage. It was mounded up really high. It was terrible dirt, lots of rocks in it. It was a mess. I hated to ask anybody to do it, but I didn't want to do it myself, so he had to do it. So anyway, he did it. So that's about it. I'll just turn it back to net for now. 87QKU, back to net.
87QKU, thanks for that. That also acknowledges WW7N has checked in. So let's go to Jessica, KS7UHK.
KS7UHK, Jessica, up here in Everett. We have about 40 degrees right now. Sure is nice up in Mount Vernon today. The sun was out. I had secured 3 pallets to take apart so I could make some little planter boxes. So I took these up to the house today in the back of our truck and cut them up into nice little pieces and got them so we cut up, which now I'm feeling the strain of being old and working with a skill saw all day. But tomorrow I'm going to start putting those together if we go up there again tomorrow. I'm sure we will. Let's see. I had some baked beans, some Bush's baked beans, along with some hot dogs cut up inside and thrown inside. It's a very Western kind of thing to have. It was delicious. So that was kind of a quick meal after we got done with all the work. And with that, I don't have anything else to say right now. So Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, Jessica, thanks for that. Let's go up to Marysville for Bert, N7CS.
Well, good evening, everyone. Let's see what I got going on. Well, there's a new barbecue place that opened near my house over in Lake Stevens, and went there today to try it out. I think it opened a few months back, but I never got around to going until today. But I had some sticker shock on the price though, because a 2-meat plate at this barbecue place was $28. It was a total of 8 ounces, so like 4 ounces of meat, first meat, 4 ounces of the other meat. But that seemed, I don't know, really, really overpriced to me. So kind of still sticker shock from that, even though that was at lunchtime. But let's see what else we got going on. Oh, Dave, just so you know, your symbol had a bit of static in it. You were still readable, but just so you're aware of that. Oh, then maybe for Jessica, since you like Survivor, I found out that on Paramount Plus, they actually have Australia Survivor, New Zealand Survivor, and South Africa Survivor on there, in addition to the U.S. Survivor show. So I've never seen any of those other 3 shows before. So I watched the first episode of Australian Survivor today. Looks like that'll keep me busy probably for the next year or so to watch all those shows, because a lot of them have several seasons. But anyway, that's probably it for now. I'll save the rest for later. This is Bert in Marysville, N7CS, back to that.
N7CS, thanks for that, Bert. Let's go to Kent to Richard, T7ITX.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm watching the football game here. It's tied, but San Francisco 49ers against Green Bay Packers in the snow are in scoring position with appears just 13 seconds left. And when I mean scoring, that they would kick the ball through the goalpost to win the game. And that'd be good timing because the best player just looked like he got hurt really bad. And one good thing for San Francisco is they have a kicker that is probably 100% from this position. So with 13 seconds left, by the time it comes back to me, I can tell you if they win or lost. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, you're at point man. Thanks for bringing that to the net. Let's go to Jim in Covington, N720.
Well, Dave, I noticed Wade is here, if you want to get him first.
Okay, I'll take Wade, then we'll go to Jim.
This is W7ITL, and let me switch my inputs here so you can actually see me. Let's see if that works. Oh, there we go, I see myself on the screen. So I found out that my receiving antenna for 1.2 has been off by about 15 or 20 degrees. I went up there on the roof today, and I'm seeing, if you can see on my Zoom secondary camera, it's quite better than it normally is. It's very clean. Let's see. Let's just talk about a few things that have been going on. So I made the decision to switch my cell phone carrier this week, and I got everybody moved over, but then all of a sudden my line started having issues, so I had to switch all my lines to AT&T because I couldn't get them to figure out the problem. I went to a budget carrier, and I was saving about $50 a month. So I went to a prepaid AT&T for a month, and no one tried to switch them back. And then, let's see, the other things I'm working on, the crypto marketing, so it's gone through the floor as far as prices down. My helium it's like almost half the value when I first started out on helium. So I'm hoping that the crypto market starts going back up, and I don't have to pull out. All right. Well, we'll talk more about other things in the next round. I might only maybe another round, and I might have to leave. But until then, this is W7ITL. Back to Matt.
W7ITL, thanks for that. Now let's go on to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, good evening, everyone. Yeah, let's see, who was it that was saying? Dick, yeah, the 49ers. Did you notice their kicker? Man, did you see the skinny legs on that guy? I would think a kicker would have bigger legs, but those are little bird-like legs. But they did the job, so I don't know. Anyways, just an observation on my part. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Ron, yard work. Yeah, I have to do that too. In particular, I've got moss around here now. Man, it wasn't there before winter, but it's there now. I'm going to have to do some serious power washing. Maybe once the weather warms up a little bit. Bert, yeah, I agree. That barbecue is, oh my God, expensive. I hope it's, oh my God, good. But hang in there. Let's see. Wade, excellent picture. And yeah, thanks for that. Let's see. Someone was commenting about the weather, temperature, etc. I've got 36 at my house here, just south of Covington. It was very foggy all day. Not a single airplane either took off or landed here. The fog did lift maybe 100 feet or so during the middle of the day, but then it came back down. The weather person said we were supposed to get sun breaks, but I never saw any sun breaks here. Let's see. I guess back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
7QO, thanks for that. And it's time for ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 808 machine. This is Dave, 87CYM. Let's go to James, WW7ATS.
Okay, Dave, thank you. I did some more audio adjustments today. How's the audio channel coming through tonight? Ooh, that's a good night, because we're also getting a super picture on 1.2 gigahertz. Oh, wow, oh, my goodness. Well, anyway, Ron, I'm glad you attacked your bushes. I'm glad you won, apparently, not the bushes. That's good. That's always a good thing. And Jessica, yeah, I noticed that too. Why do they call them power tools when it seems like after you've used them for less than 6 hours, you feel like you've done all the power in there? And I guess it would be a lot worse if you're trying to use a saw without the power. Bert, you have hit upon a great problem here. I call it restaurant sticker shock. I have been in the habit of going to a restaurant with a friend for a long time now, maybe a decade, and we've been going to the same restaurant. And I noticed a real change last week. He ordered an Asian salad, the same thing I ordered. Okay. I'm going to leave the microphone down, and as soon as I drop, everybody raise their hand at me, okay? And see if we can get the 3 minutes here. So I was saying, we go to the same restaurant, and usually when they have a special, you might as well ask for a box, because there's no way you're eating all that in one sit down. Well, this time, she brings the plate out. It has a little cup of rice on it, with some sauce on it, and there were 6 little shrimps around the thing of rice. And I joked with her a little bit, and I said, do the shrimp have names? Because I feel like I should get to personally know them before I eat them. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. But by the time I get out of there, it was just under $30 a head for each of us. I mean, that's for lunch. And that's, I mean, that's a lot. So I guess I'm done whining now, but I don't know. We're going to have to, may have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the parking lot. I'm not sure what we're going to do here. Because, wow, that's a lot. But, you know, on a per shrimp basis, I don't know. Maybe that's not so bad. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I think we should have multinational survivor. I mean, if you've got it in South Africa and New Zealand and other places, but maybe they just call that Ukraine and the Crimea. Maybe that's what that is. I don't know. And we're all playing whether we realize it or not. I helped a friend today, too, with moss. Actually, she could not get the pressure washer to work, and I found out there was a very distinct sequence of steps you had to go through to get the electric pressure washer to work. And I'll tell you what those steps were next time. Maybe you guys have some thoughts on what happened here. So this is James, WW7N. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Can I drop out that time?
Thanks for that, James, WW7ATS. 87CYM in Lake City. Oh my, here in Lake City I got 37 degrees and it's cloudy outside. Most of the day it was walking in the neighborhood and enjoying some sunshine for a change that happened in the afternoon here in Lake City. And got back home and started a folder to gather up my information for my taxes for 2021. So far I've got 3 items in that folder, but hopefully it will grow. And I got some domestic chores done, so that's pretty good. Let's see, also this week, I ordered my federal testing kit for COVID, and I got a confirmation on that order, and then also I attended the Washington State site and ordered some more COVID testing things. I got a confirmation on that. So with a little luck, maybe by the first of the month I'll see some kits in my neighborhood. So that's about pretty much for it. So this is Dave, 87CYM, and this is the Washington State Amateur Television Society, Western Washington Amateur Television Society, net. So let's go back up to the top to Ron, 87QKU.
Okay, thanks Dave, KD72KU here. Well, I did the same thing. I ordered from the federal government and got a confirmation, and then ordered from the state before they ran out. So got a confirmation, so see which one gets here first, I guess. And gee, Merry Christmas. It sounds like you guys are really spending a lot of money for lunch. We went, Joanne didn't want to cook, so she said she wanted Chinese food, but we didn't know where to go get some takeout really close by, so she said they had some over at Safeway, so we actually went over to Safeway for $13.95. We got 4 cartons of food, and it was more than we could eat, so we have lunch tomorrow, so we only spent $13.95 for dinner, plus tax. It wasn't the best Chinese food in the world, that's for sure, but it was okay. I don't know. We got to find a better place, I guess. And Tony's talked about the fog. Well, it was foggy all day. Not all day here, but it was up until noon. It was foggy, and then the sun came up, but it was cold, like 42, 43 degrees all day. And it wasn't James. It wasn't me that was taking the bushes out. It was the landscaper, gardener, lawnmower, jack of all trades. He and his 2 sons were over here today. So anyway, that's who's taking out my bushes. And Jessica, I think you used to do a light show at a barbecue place in Everett that's probably much better than where Bert went. You'll have to direct him to that place. So anyway, all right, that's enough. Back to that 87QKU.
87QKU, Ron, thank you for that. Let's go to Jessica with all of her barbecue background.
When I was first commuting up here to Everett from down in Tacoma, we stopped by this place called Hole in the Wall Barbecue. It's right next to a driving range. And the guy just shared the building with the guy who owned the driving range. So they had some really great barbecue and fairly inexpensive. But the guy up and died of a heart attack and it all closed down. Yeah, but for a long time, every Thursday night or so, especially after I retired, I'd go down there, and they had swing country music, which is kind of old-timey country music, and I got into bringing my light show and doing lights for them with backgrounds and things like that, and it was just a lot of fun. These guys had just a fun set of music that everybody would know if you heard it all, and I think I even played a couple of country songs. My favorite is Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, the guy up and died of a heart attack, and so we don't have that place anymore. Football in the snow, though. If you're going to watch football, that's the time to do is when it's in the snow, because then they're earning their keep to go out there in the snow and play football for sure. The Great Race is a show I've been watching. I think it's called The Great American Race. I'm not quite sure. I just started watching that, and that's kind of fun. One of the guys that's on it is an internet, kind of an internet personalities that's in other places, and so it's kind of fun to follow him around, see how he's doing. And the last thing is, light beans and franks will go for $12 a bowl, a la carte. KF7, UHK.
KF7 UHK, thanks for joining. And time for ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. That's Dave 87ZYM. Let's go to Bert M7CS in Marysville.
Okay, let's see what I have on the list this time. Dave, yeah, those federal kits, my wife put an order in for that the other day. We didn't order the Washington State ones yet. I asked her why. She said, well, she understands those tests have like an expiration date on them, so we don't want to stock up too many of them or they may start expiring. But so I figure the ones from the federal place will be good enough for now. We'll see what happens though. And I did some work outside today to get my primary vertical antenna about 5 feet higher. So I had it at that height in the past, but the wind blew it over, so then I just never got around to sticking it back up there. So that's I'll see if that helps me get any better signal on that 23 centimeter non-net that I was talking about last time. And I also removed one of I had a Yagi up that when we had that big snow last time, a bunch of snow fell from my roof onto it, and it broke the carbon fiber mast that was on there, so I ended up having to take that down. I'll have to put that back up another day. Let's see, and okay. And Wade, I don't know if you're still listening or not, or if you're on the simplex net, but okay, you are. Yeah, the crypto crash, I've been through quite a few of those. They do happen, and I mean, if what I usually tell people is basically gambling. So take, like, when you're ahead, take out what you put in, and then just let the rest ride. Maybe take a little bit out for so you feel a little better. But yeah. It does this. It cycles. It comes and goes. But hopefully it comes back. Some coins it usually does. Some coins disappear forever. But it just depends. And that's probably good for now. So this is Bert in Marysville and 7CS. Back to that.
M7CS. Let's go to Richard K7 ITX.
I got it anyway. It was foggy here. Debbie's up in Seattle taking care of my daughter's cats again, and she said it was sunny right off the bat in Seattle. It stayed foggy here until about, I want to say about 3 o'clock. And so it was nice and bright and sunny at 3 p.m., but it's an afternoon winter sun. I did open all the drapes to get whatever solar energy I could squeeze out of the end of the day. But then it clouded up at 4 o'clock, or the next round of fog moved in. So it was kind of a losing battle. But man, 31 degrees was the temperature overnight. So right now it's 36. So I expect we'll have freezing fog. So gosh, that's never any fun for people, especially if you get in an accident. What a fantastic football game. Yes, the kicker does have skinny legs. But I guess he's just really accurate. He never misses. And this was a football game, in the snow. And so regular playing is not how you won this game. It was special teams that won the game for San Francisco. And so in weather like this, you're never really surprised when special teams are the guys that have the unglorious job of kicking the ball, receiving the ball, or punting the ball, or receiving the punt, or extra point after touchdown, that kind of thing. But it was a blocked punt that I didn't see. I was in the kitchen, and I thought for sure the game was over, and the Green Bay Packers were going to win, which I can't stand. And I come back, and I'm shocked. The score's tied.
and then I saw the replay, and then it was a block punt. So good for the West Coast. Anyway, so I'm happy about that. Let's see. Oh yeah, we ordered Debbie ordered the kits from the feds, and I ordered the kits from the state. So we'll be getting our kits as well. And unfortunately, I had to work on a letter for an hour and a half today, even though I got paid for it. It's still, whenever you have to write a letter to a good customer, but hold their feet to the fire and tell them all the wrong things they've done, and it's a bummer, let me tell you. And so, I'm convinced that, we need to sign the contract, but yet at the same time, I'm going to write a letter that points out they're in violation of their own contract. So I did ask my client if he had a good, friendly lawyer that he could talk to right away, because I'm not about to give any legal advice. So, what the heck, Yeah, and it isn't that. I always look at the worst case scenario. That's the criticism, personal criticism, a wife criticism. I'm always the guy that double checks everything, and I stay out of trouble. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that, Richard. Let's go to Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
W7ITL here, and thanks for the reassurance of the time holding out on the crypto crash. I figured that's what was going to happen, but eventually we'll come back. I think Ethereum's hopefully going to stay. Hopefully it's not going to burn out. Otherwise I won't have any more income from that, and I'll have to find something else to do from that, because I get the bug. So I was going to try to show you guys some pictures, because this afternoon my wife and my son and I went up to Mount Rainier, and we got to one of the visitor center summits. We didn't bring all the gear we needed to be able to go out in the snow. We were hoping that we were going to go up there and do some sledding, but I don't know when they're going to bring sledding back, but they're starting to do no sledding. So with that said, let's see, everybody's talking about the COVID test, the free COVID test from the government. I haven't done that yet. I'm going to probably look into getting a couple of those myself. I got a couple from the library the other day, and they were really quick. The one at the library, I did the PCR test with that, and I got my results back the next day. The quickest turnaround on anything now. Let's see, I don't have anything more. It's maybe my last for the night, because I have to go pick up my wife from my friend's house that we always got earlier. I didn't think I was actually going to make it on the net tonight, but too bad I didn't see Joey yet tonight. I was hoping to see him, but I'm sure he has something going on. With that said, this is W7ITL, back to net.
W7ITL, Wade, thanks for joining the net this evening. You take your 7-3. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Wade, once again, good picture. Let's see here. Jessica, I got a couple things for you. There was a picture you had up in the background. Just curious what that was. It kind of looked like the Marlboro Man on a cutting horse. It's, I don't know. Anyway, just curious about that. And also, Jessica, $12 a bowl. That sounds like a whole lot better deal than what Bert had. Does the $12 a bowl include delivery? In that case, I'll take two. I don't know. Let's see. Bert, I thought, take care, Wade. Bert, I thought that your homeowners association did not allow you to put up outside antennas. I remember when you first got on here, the Marlboro man had friends out there. Say that politically correct. Sorry. Anyway, Bert, okay, I hope this is better. A little bit? Okay. Static. Great. Oh well. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO. Little static there that we were able to hear most of what you were talking about. Let's do the change. WU7N in Bellevue.
Well, let's see if I do any better this time. Well, I would just say, Jessica, if you put one of those shrimp on top of the baked beans, that would double the price right there. So, I would definitely go for that if you're going to deliver. Crypto, well, I think all investing ultimately is gambling, isn't it? I read a quote from an economist today that all money is essentially a claim on work. And all money is a claim, that happens because of energy, one way or another. And then he went on to say that, well, isn't energy in everything, so ultimately money is a claim on energy. It's kind of an interesting thought process because if we don't have energy, then nothing really can happen anymore. So, and I was thinking of cryptocurrency when I thought of that because that's kind of a pure sort of thing that people are speculating on, but even that still requires energy and telecommunications, I guess. Well, Wade, I don't know if he's still listening or not, but banning sledding, government banning sledding, that sounds like a slippery slope to me. I don't know. Well, you probably didn't hear that. With everything that's going on the past year, I think we should all have the right to hurl ourselves down any avalanche hazard slope if you want to, and just not interfere with nature. Maybe put the sign up warning you about the avalanche hazard, but other than that, you make your own decision. And taxes, thanks for reminding me. Wow, my taxes would be so simple, but it's depressing. It's probably going to take me about 10 minutes to do mine. But hopefully this coming year, 2022, the taxes will be far more difficult. And Richard, yeah, that is always depressing when you have a customer that you've had a good relationship with and now you have to write them a letter. But now, though, if you're going to have the vendor lunch where you have to fire them, it's too expensive. So you got to reconsider whether you really want to fire the vendor or not. I've been to a lot of vendor lunches, where you get the box lunch and you're told what a great job you did, by the way you're fired. But now I guess, if it's going to be like with Bert and I paid, you have to reassess whether you can actually afford the vendor lunch or not. So anyway, with that thought, let me return this to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net Control. Dave, take it away.
WU7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, 87CYM in Lake City, and get an idea, and again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. Well, as far as crypto goes, boy, it's sad that it's evaluated a little bit there, but for those of us in the stock market, I've seen a 12% decrease in the value of my holdings in the stock market. So I'm still a thousandaire, so at least I still have a few shekels left for retirement. So with that, we'll go back up to the top with Ron, 87 QKU.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, I don't know. I'd ordered trees when they had all the trees taken out. I wanted to put those, what are they called? I want to say viburnum. I can't say what they are now. Along the fence, to act as a fence. And, of course, they were out of them. And then, of course, they tried to order some and they got all sunburned. So they were having a hard time. So they kept, putting me off and putting me off. So I remembered it last week, so I gave them a call, and the lady I talked to said, oh, well, you're scheduled for February the 8th, and we have lots of trees now. She said, didn't I call you? And I said, I don't think so. She said, oh, well, I had a baby and I've been off work and I guess I maybe missed you. But she said, yeah, no, we have you scheduled. We have to go over to someplace else and plant one tree, Gate Harbor, I think she said, and then we'll be to your house. And so they're bringing 45 trees to put in along my fence on one side and then a few along the fence on the other side. So that'll be a nice payday for them. So, but it'll look nice. The yard's beginning to look nice. It's a lot different now than it was when we moved in, that's for sure. So anyway, what else? I don't know. That Packers game, I'm kind of like Richard. It was a pretty good game, but I wasn't totally watching it either. You know, I was doing something else. I think I was reading the new RV magazine I got, and I would look up every now and then, and it would be the same, and then you look up and it was the same, and then, you know, they did, I guess, block that front, and I looked up and it was tied, and I was like Richard. How did that happen? But then they showed a replay. So anyway, of course, I'm just rambling on here, so turn it back to that 87 QKU.
87 QKU, we welcome you to being an orchard owner. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK. I know those little trees you're talking about. They make good barriers. We put like 8 or 9 of them up at our house up in Mount Vernon, and they all seem to have taken now and are growing nicely, and I'm happy about that because we just put them in this last, I think October, end of summer is when we put them in. And they seem to be doing good, and we want more of them because I think they're kind of straight. They look like little pine trees, but they're really straight. They make a great barrier. Speaking of money and taxes, I used to know this guy. I'd call him an armchair economist or a tax dodger. And he always said, you know you've made it when you work one day and you can buy a good pair of shoes with that money. So that's a good amount of money. That's not from your value shoe store, or volume shoe stores, but from a good shoe store. A good pair of shoes is about what you should make for a good day's work. So that's kind of interesting. And the horses, I was looking for a silhouette because over in Eastern Washington there's at least one place that had these silhouettes of either a horse or a cowboy that they would put like a black silhouette looking thing up on their house. It looked like there was a cowboy standing there. And so I was looking for pictures of a simple cowboy silhouette, and these are the videos I found. I said, oh, these are too cool, so I kept them. Only reason I have them. I didn't take the videos. Anything else here? Condo. I live in a condo, so I'm waiting for the COVID-19 test condo issue to resolve because I have a number after my address that might make it hard to get to because I think they were having a hard time getting it to people who had a number after their address. You know, a unit number, as we like to call it, a suite number. So it makes it sound more exciting. It sounds like a dentist office. Anyhow, I'm going to pass it back to Jessica over here at KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, let's go to Bert, M7TS in Marysville again.
Okay, well, to address, Jim asked a question about the HOA, and yeah, technically, there's something in there about, like, no antennas of any kind, but I interpret that as no antennas of any kind that can be seen if you're driving by in a car along the street in front of the house. So, I mean, I figure if you can't see them from the front of the house, why do they care? So that means my antennas don't go, like, above the roof line. So that's not like great for stuff that's on that side of the house, but for everything else it's okay. But let's see. Oh, what else we have going on? Oh yeah, my wife booked us a vacation, 1 week in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina later this year. I've never been there. I have no idea what they have. So if anybody has any tips about what that is, I think she and her sisters just said, yeah, let's go there. I have no idea what's there. Ron, you said 4 to 5 trees or 45 trees? That's a lot of trees if it's 45. Oh my gosh. Okay, I see all the 45. Okay, that's a lot of trees. Yeah, I don't know what I would do with that many trees. But let's see. Oh, and yeah, speaking of like antennas and stuff, I I put an order through with M Squared maybe like 3 months ago to get like a 6-meter loop and a 220 megahertz loop for horizontal polarization stuff. And finally, I guess they shipped that order after 3 months. I guess just everything's been so slow. I put other orders in for ham gear from other places, like even before that, and still haven't got those orders yet. So it's taken a while for stuff. But anyway, that's it for now. This is Bert Mitchell in WW7ATS. Back to that.
In 7CS, and it's ID time again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society met on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, 87CYM. So let's go to Kent, Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, yeah, gee whiz. That is well, let me rephrase this. 45 trees seems like quite a few. But if there's screening, I guess we'll find out. I'm really excited to see your yard, later this spring and summer, Ron. Because, I remember exactly how it looked when you bought the place, and I know how it's been changing. In particular, the antennas that have sprouted up in your back. I did notice those. So, but 8 to 9 that Jessica has, that seems kind of normal or reasonable, but 45, it's like they're going to have a nursery or something. And, I donated some money to the to-go food people. See, I had a $11 gyro sandwich, which was very yummy. And then on my way home, so that I wouldn't have to cook or go anywhere because Debbie isn't here, I ordered chicken teriyaki for dinner. So I grabbed that on the way home, and that was $11. And that included the salad, and you only eat half of it. The barbecue always typically is more expensive. So, every once in a while, it's kind of nice to splurge. And then Jessica, your horses and your story about the horse and you're referring to Eastern Washington, made me think right away of those horses that you see when you go across the Columbia River in Vantage. Which is rather spectacular, especially if the first time you see them, you look up there, and the problem for me, though, is I'm the guy always driving, and so, everybody's going, hey, look at this, and so I look, and I think, oh no, I'm going to drive off the road if I'm not careful, because it is pretty spectacular, so couldn't help but think of that, Jessica. And then the latest that I studied a little bit more on the 5G situation, and trying to compare our situation to Europe is kind of like apples and oranges. Just seems like we got a little bit more greedy over here, particularly the way the government the federal government has auctioned off the bands to literally billions of dollars for the rights to use certain frequencies. And so that's where the cell phone companies are coming from. They spent all this money, and I don't think they're going to get a refund from the feds. I really doubt it. But it is kind of like, and I don't mean this in any kind of a derogatory way, it was kind of like a Mexican standoff, and right now it appears that the cell phone companies blinked, and I can understand why they would. They want to have happy customers, and the minute they stop airline travel the way it appeared they might, they would be kind of the bad boys in the group, and of course everyone appreciates airline safety. How about particularly the helicopters that have to land in bad weather in downtown Seattle on top of the hospital? They need that
specialized radar, with the built-in altimeter scenario. And so, I think maybe it might have been some unqualified FCC administrators, or maybe FCC commissioners appointed by the previous administration. Maybe, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I think I've said enough. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that, Richard. Let's go on down to Jim in Covington. N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Dick, about your client there, just curious if maybe there's a legitimate problem that the check was lost in the mail. Where I am here, I went for like 2 weeks without getting any mail, and they said initially it was because of the weather, and then it's like, well, okay, but so I received, I think, all of the mail that they've got to give me, but there are some things which I am missing, in particular a couple of bills, so I don't know. Check and see what's going on. Just a thought. Let's see, Jessica, something about the COVID tests. I saw something on television where, yes, they were having issues if you had an apartment number or something like that, multiple dwellings in a building. They said call over the telephone, and you can order over the telephone somehow, and someone can manually write that in. They're supposedly working on a fix for that on the software, but they have not yet accomplished that. So just a thought there. Let's see, Bert. Yeah, thanks for clarification on the antennas there. That you're probably actually not that bad off. I actually used to, when I first got into ATV, I used to broadcast from inside my attic, and it worked extraordinarily well for about the 2 years that I did that. But things started changing with our repeater, and reset. So if you need a better line of sight, you need a height, but otherwise, don't know. And we were talking about trees. Yeah, I've got a neighbor who has a bunch of trees, and there may be like 40 trees out there. There's for sure at least 30 trees out there, and I'm trying to get a signal through those to the ATV repeater. It used to work fine, well, relatively speaking, years ago, but sometimes it seems when it's wet, it works better. I think sometimes I've seen pollen on the leaves. The leaves are almost like an absorbing substance, but they can be washed off apparently by the rain. Now if you have a rain shower between you and the antenna, that could be a problem, but from my attic, I was taught way back when that cured wood is not a major deterrent to RF. It's the live trees that are a deterrent. If they have the sap in them, it's mainly the sap, but the cured wood is less of a problem unless you need the height. But so thanks for clarification on that. And let's see, Dick, 5G. Yeah, I was reading something about that as well. As a matter of fact, this last issue of Aviation Week that I got had an article about that, and they said that, just like you said, the FCC auctioned off some of that frequency range to at least reset. that frequency range to the highest bidder, and it was some god-awful number. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens to that, but I'm still curious exactly how that came about. If someone was reporting interference, why that became an issue. Someone should have known about that quite some time ago. For sure if there was an alarm, someone should have heard about that and taken some action a while ago. But whatever. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, we held the repeater for the entire transmission this time with a little static, but that was pretty good. So let's go to Jim, N7QO. I'm sorry, that's James, WW7ATS.
Well, thank you, Dave. We know what you meant. Well, something I did disconnect, someone else in the restaurant supply business was telling me that the price of beef had gone bananas and gone crazy. So maybe that's why Bird's Barbecue was a little higher. I just remember that right now. And on cell phones, Wade, I know Wade's gone probably by now, but anybody who hears anything on this, let me know. I just contacted AT&T, and I'm giving them credit that they stopped my auto pay because my 5S Apple iPhone will stop working on the 22nd of next month. So I give them credit for that, and I was able to get just a service on the same system Wade had, the AT&T prepay. But I can Google it and clean up, because for a $20 one-time charge, it's my understanding Google will take my cell phone number into Google Voice, so I hold on to it. And then I essentially have cell phone texting, voice, things like that, whenever I'm near a hotspot, a Wi-Fi hotspot. Now, that's not going to give you reliable enough service if you're really in a business where you really need to have reliable cell phone coverage all the time, like in real estate or your medical or aviation or transportation or something like that. That's not going to work. But where have I been sitting for the last 2 years? Yeah, right next to my own Wi-Fi box. I think it's probably going to work just fine for that. So I might go for that. If anybody knows anything about that, let me know. And Bert, antennas in the in your covenants. Someone on our street pointed out when we said we were telling people you couldn't put up dish antenna, and Dish lobbied Congress to bypass all the states' rights and everything, and said no, you can put up a dish. So I did talk to my neighbors about this to assure them that I own here too, and I don't want to destroy our property value. But when it comes to throwing a wire out into the green belt, you're telling me this big, huge, ugly dish is okay, but somehow a wire that's green and hides in the weeds, that's bad? I mean, no, come on. No, you can hardly even see the wire. So I do have antennas running out into the green belt whenever, I have a rock and a good arm to throw them with. But nothing quite as fancy as yours, I guess. So anyway, that's it for me, James, Whiskey Uniform 7 November. That's WW7N in Northeast Bellevue with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Looks like we got about 7 minutes left, so I'll only turn back to our net control day. Take it away.
WW7N, yes, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Gosh, Jessica's decision of talking about the price of shoes being successful for a day. For the holidays, I was with a friend and we were at Nordstrom's store downtown, and I saw a pair of, I couldn't believe it, price tags for $3,000 on a pair of high heels, and I was saying, I guess that would stand to reason. That is a good profitable day if you can buy those shoes at the end of the day. That was kind of interesting. And that was not the cheapest. They had some for even more than that. I picked them up and looked at them and said, you got to be kidding. But they didn't charge me to touch them, so I set them back down on the counter on the display. Well, let's go to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU here. So Richard was making me laugh when he talked about the FCC director. I think he's absolutely right. I think I saw that guy, and if I'm not mistaken, he was kind of a young, nerdy-looking guy. Probably didn't know a thing about ham radio, didn't know a thing about, a lot of things. I don't know how he got the job. Maybe he was maybe he had lots of money and he donated to the election. I don't know. But you wonder sometimes. And about those trees, they're not going to be as big as the ones Jessica has in the picture. They're going to be 5 or 6 feet tall, I think. They're pretty good size. But I got 60 or 80 feet across the backyard that I want to cover. And then I got 30 feet up the side I want to cover. So that's quite a ways. And so I don't know how far they space them. They wanted to know, how many feet it was, and I taken pictures and everything, and they figured that's how many trees I need. So when they get here and plant them, I know they planted trees for me once before, and if they have more than they need, they take them back. They don't charge you for them. So, but she said they were bringing 45 trees, so we'll see how it works out. And let's see, I guess I already talked about the FCC. I don't know if you guys have seen that guy. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm thinking of some other guy that was appointed, but anyway. And I did. I went on QRZ and I see that my license was updated. So my expiration date is 2032 or something now. So I don't know if I'll live that long, but I've got a license for a long time anyway. So, but I guess they never send you anything because I haven't got an email or anything telling me that it was, confirmed. So you think they would do it, but anyway. Oh, and Wade, if you're still there, or anybody, if you need some of those test kits, and I get them all, I'd be more than happy to share. So, and I didn't think about expiration date, or I probably wouldn't order from both places. But I just figured I wouldn't get any, and I would order both places, and maybe I'd get something. So who knows? We'll find out. All right, we'll. I guess say 73's over here for now. KD7QKU. Back to that.
KD7QKU. Thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica. KF7UHK.
KF7UHK. These are not my trees. I got these off the internet because I was looking to try to find out what they're called. My friend called them emerald greens, but they're also called an arborvitae is the technical name for them. And ours are right now about 5 feet tall, 5.5 feet tall. And we did both get emails from the FCC, so it might take a couple days, but we got it's not a lot of hoopla in that FCC communication, but it does have a link that you can go click on and see a replica of what your license would look like that has 2032, because that's what we just got to. So I hope I live to see 2032. That's a long ways out. 10 years seems to be a long time when you're playing with radio. I was kind of amazed. So I'm going to say 73 from up here in Everett, Washington, where it's still 40 degrees. This is KF7 UHK.
KF7 UHK, Jessica. Thanks for that. Let's go to Marysville for Bert, M7CS.
Well, we're getting close to the end there, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'll try doing this real quick. Let's try it. So sharing my screen. Okay, so if you can see this is the different 5G bands around the world where they have their allocations. The USA is down here, and this is the radar altimeter band. So there's where there's a little gap. And if you go down a little bit more, this shows what I guess the typical radar altimeter filter is. And this is, so apparently they're not using filters with steep sides. They kind of are very broad. So it looks like that's part of the reason is because of this. I don't know how hard it is to make sharper filters at 4 gigahertz. But anyway, I don't want to run out of time, so this is Bert and Rachel in 7CS. Back to that.
M7CS, thanks for that. And time for the net to come to an end. We'd like to thank the owners and operators of the 08 machine, the CTAC Repeater Group, for allowing the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net to utilize their frequencies for our net. And we meet on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, I'd like to thank again the CTAC Repeater Group for allowing us to utilize the 08 machine. Signing off, this is Dave, KD7ZYM at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.